Hello, guys. So today we have a couple of part two Q card questions. Well, a couple is an understatement. I'm planning to do as many as possible today in one video. So if you want to have the combination of all these videos in one, probably 20 different examples, this is a video for you. And without further ado, let's do this. Give you examples of how you're supposed to be taking notes, and obviously some sample answers. Describe a friend you like to spend time with. You should say who this friend is, how you met, what you usually do together, and explain why you enjoy spending time with this person. Well, so first of all, I'm going to talk about my friend called Doğan, for example. This is a Turkish name. And how you met. We met in the earthquake day, right? It's quite an interesting story, I would say. What you did together, play basketball. So I'm just going to write it like this in short. And explain why you enjoy spending time with this person. Well, like a like-minded, share hobbies, etc. I'm going to explain those kind of stuff. So, to answer the question, you have between 1 to 2 minutes. So I'm going to start now. I like to spend time with Doğan. I remember meeting him in 2009, and it was an earthquake day. Like an earthquake had happened, and all of us had to go outside. So I took my running shoes. I was going out for a run. Well, everyone was at the park, obviously, for safety, but I planned to go there and do exercise while waiting for the government telling us if it was safer to go back in. So I met him there. He was with his girlfriend and with other guys. They were playing basketball, and he kind of like came to me and asked me questions. Hey, how are you? Where are you from? Etc. So we kind of like met there, and in one way or another, we just found ourselves interested in playing basketball together. Because he was a really skilled guy, and I was a learner at that time. So he told me a lot of things with obviously other guys as the time passed. So this is how we spend most of our time. And I enjoy spending time with him because he is a good listener. I'm a good listener as well. So when we make conversations, we really tend to have some kind of friendly conversations in a very respectful way. And whether we're talking about life or basketball, he always shows respect. And I do respect him as well. And my friends are his friends. And after basketball, we just have time to talk about life itself. So being like-minded people, people who love to explore life and see how we could improve our basketball skills and other aspects of our lives has made me really a good friend of him and him a good friend of mine. Okay, question number 2 here. Describe a person who inspired you to do something interesting. Okay, you should say who this person is. I could say maybe I would like to talk about my other friend of mine who is Murat. How do you know him? Again, we met him playing basketball. It's life. So almost you spend time on your hobbies most of the time. So you make friends from there. What the person is inspired to do, like a writing, he's a writer. So kind of like he inspired me to write as well, and explaining why you found him or how inspiring, because he's an honest person. Could be blunt sometimes, but I love being around honest people. So and that was working for me. So I have between 1 to 2 minutes to talk about this topic. I've collected my notes. As I always tell you, you have only 1 minute to prepare your notes. So without further ado, I'm going to start answering this question, well, aka giving the sample answer. So I'm going to talk about Murat. Murat is a very good friend of mine, and I met him playing basketball. Actually, that day he was sitting just watching people playing basketball, and I thought like he was interested in playing basketball. So he didn't know anybody in our group, and in one way or another, I kind of like invited him, told him like, I'm gonna go out, so if you want to play, you can play as well. So he went in and started playing, and since one, we started talking, we become good friends. And later came to find out that he was a journalist, but also he had written some books in Turkish. And that really inspired me. I had already written my first book, so it inspired me to write more. And being close to him made me feel more welcomed, in the basketball community. Though I'm the one who welcomed him, but he was there longer before me. He just didn't know my friends. So, in one way or another, most of our conversations are honest. That's why I find him like inspiring, because that level of honesty is not easy, especially the times when you have to say the truth that everyone hates. So he is a little bit older compared to most of our friend groups. So he tends to tell us the truth, the hard truth. Sometimes it could be blunt. And this honesty is what made me like him more, because I knew that he was somehow real and more open compared to the other guys. So I think that's the most inspiring thing about him. Moving to question number 3. Describe someone you know who often helps others. You should say who this person is. So I'm going to start preparing my notes here without wasting time. I'm going to say this person is Layla. She's a distant friend of mine, but I've heard a lot about her stories, what kind of help she does, including her family and friends, like giving advices, recommending things, teaching things, etc. And how she helps others, educating them, right? Especially at school, herself is a doctor, and explaining why you think this person helps others, because, I think she's changed their lives, and I've seen it once, and most of her friends are talking about it, etc. So this not only helps me to remember what I want to talk about. And this is not like the natural flow that you should definitely start from here up to here. So if you can make this conversation as natural as much as possible, that's an amazing thing to do. So I'm going to go here describing Layla. I'll start now. So Layla is a doctor. She was born in Tanzania. She studied in Turkey, and I met her for the first time in Turkey. I just met her once, and we had a little conversation. Our other friend is a friend of hers, so we kind of like talked a little bit. And my friend told me about how quick she is when it comes to helping people. She has helped a lot of young people in her own country, including advising them, especially young girls, giving them directions, educating them in various matters. And by education, I'm not only talking about giving them direction or helping them to achieve their goals, but actually teaching them, if it's biology or chemistry, or all this kind of cool stuff that they're learning to become a doctor. So I think she's a person who helps others, because the ones who are helped are the living examples. Even though I haven't met all of them, but some of them speak good of her, of how careful and sincere she is when it comes to helping others to become an important person as she is. For me, doctors are very, very important, and that is quite an achievement. Being able to make others or inspiring others into becoming like you, it's one of the greatest things that someone could do. So yeah, that's it. Moving to question number 4. Describe a family member you get on well with. You should say who this person is. So for me, I'm going to talk about my little brother, who is a son, what kind of person he is. He's a hardworking, quiet and polite person. And what we usually do together, well, we don't do much together, but we laugh a lot, when we meet, talk about family, talk about life, etc. And explaining why you get on well with him or her, because he's respectful, and that's the only thing a grown-up man would ask from their young brothers or sisters. So this is my notes, and after preparing these notes, I'm going to give you some answer. So I like to talk about my young brother, who is Hassan. He's an IT guy, and he loves his job. He's a hardworking person. He's a good family member. Every time we meet, we talk a lot about the past, especially our childhood. We grew up together, and then I had to go to boarding schools later abroad and those kind of stuff. So we got separated in one way or another. But since we grew up and we had great youth memories, so in one way or another, we always have a lot of laughs and good stories to tell from the past. He's a very respectful person. He's a quiet person, hardworking person. So this gives him a different position in my heart. Respect is something that I value a lot, especially from the young ones. So, a lot of young people might not know this, but adults don't ask for a lot. If you respect them, they get most satisfaction out of that one. So, as an older brother, though I'm not super older than him, we are like friends sometimes, but he always shows respect to me, and hopefully he keeps that forever, as long as we're still alive. So that's something that makes me like him better and helps us to get along well. Yes, with that being said, we are moving forward to the fifth example. And this is going to be the last example in this part. IELTS Speaking, part 2, cue cards. Our questions continue. Describe a place you'd like to visit in the future. You should say what the place is, where it's located, why you want to go there, and explain what would you like to do there. Right, I love to visit Nairobi. All right, it's located well in East Africa, Kenya. And why you want to go there? I've heard a lot of great thing about the city being beautiful and having animal park in the middle of the city, which is quite an interesting thing to have. And explaining why you'd like to, what would you like to do there? Obviously, I love to visit. I love to make friends. I love to talk to people and do all those cool stuff that you can do in a new city. So I'm gonna start explaining this part here. First of all, I heard a lot about Nairobi. I have a lot of friends that I have been to university with, and I've met in normal life. They're coming from Nairobi, and some of them coming from Kenya. They talk great about Nairobi, one of my favorite cities so far. I mean, like dreaming about it. So it's located in Kenya, and it's in the Eastern African part of the continent. And it's much more easier to go there, especially when you're coming from the countries which are closer to there. I love traveling to African countries. So it's much more easier to go to Kenya when you are in the Eastern African part. Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda are some places. If you've never been there, try to go and visit. Why would I want to go there? As I told you, it's a great city. I love to go there and see the city. And something interesting, which I haven't been able to see in so many cities, is having a safari park in the middle of the city. Like not middle, but you go 30 minutes from the city center, you could go to this place where you could see animals, actually in a very, very natural place, very, very natural environment. I think this is fantastic because being able to see this kind of a place, which isn't like a zoo, it's like a park, where animals could live there, and people from the city could go and visit, see them. This is like a different, beautiful touch for the city. And obviously, I have talked to friends that I've met in different places, and they're coming from this city, and I love to go there and meet them probably in their, own hometown, and probably become better friends. Yes, as you have seen, I've tried to go with time as much as I could. I told you these questions requires you to spend 1 minute preparing. That minute of preparing, I have made it a little bit faster because you have seen the sample places, where from my past videos where I'm explaining this part, how to prepare for this question. And right now here, I'm trying to just give you the answer. These answers are just the sample answers. So you can create your own answer. You can create an answer that is in accordance to your own experience. Why do I persist on people using their own experience? It's because when you use your own experience, it's much more easier and much more effortless, to recall things. Don't focus on the perfection. That's why they say there are different points from maybe 0 to 9. So there is always a difference between 6 and 9. But sometimes if your level is 7 points, if you focus more on trying to be perfect during the conversation, you might drop it into 6 because it doesn't sound as natural. So if you want to improve yourself, just spend 10% of your time trying to probably add vocabularies and trying to create better sentences, and spend 90% of your time in actual practice. That's how you do with so many things in life. We got it all wrong way, especially when we're learning things since we're younger. We usually spend too much time on theories. You're learning maths, you spend too much time learning the theories of maths instead of spending 90% of your time actually solving questions, and you're probably solving real life questions. So that's how you improve. That's how you train yourself to become better at something. If these are speaking questions, you listen to sample answers, try to answer them by yourself, because when you do so, you become better practically. You improve your self-confidence, not just because someone told you, hey, you can do this, go on for it. No, that's not how you improve your self-confidence. By actually doing something, you improve your self-confidence. So this is it for today. Wishing all the best. I'm looking forward to seeing you more in our next videos. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe and open the notification. Every time a new video comes, you can see it and study for your coming IELTS examination. So take care of yourself and keep on grinding.